rights throughout history. Diverse beliefs. So diverse means different or just varying. So what happens when beliefs that we have go against or kind of contradict the beliefs of others? So where do our rights lie when it comes to our ideas and our opinions? We all are entitled to our opinions, but what happens when they conflict or go against the opinions of others? So our objective is to evaluate various controversial beliefs of Americans and how our rights have shaped our ability to disagree. So what that means is we're looking at the rights that we have in this country, primarily freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and we're trying to look at cases where what one person thought or what a group of people thought might have went against what other people thought and how that turned out. Our essential question is, how is the Scopes monkey trial an example of our rights in action when it comes to beliefs? So we're going to look at a case that was known as the Scopes monkey trial to try and understand how sometimes our rights can lead us to have different opinions, and sometimes those opinions can cause conflict. So we're all different. We all have our freedoms, but sometimes those freedoms can cause us to have different opinions. And that's a good thing, but having different opinions can cause conflict. We're able to have those various opinions and beliefs when it comes to all the things that are going on in our country and our world and even our small communities. But the fact that we have those rights and we can have our own opinions sometimes causes conflict with people who don't see things the same way as we do. Despite that conflict, we have the right to think and feel the way that we want to. We have a right to opinion and we have a right to beliefs. And it's important that we try to tolerate the opinions and beliefs of others, because their opinions and beliefs are protected by law, even if their opinions and beliefs might seem crazy to us. Because if you start to kind of say what people are allowed and not allowed to think and believe, that might lead to the government being able to curtail and kind of censor our opinions and beliefs a little too much. And we don't want that to happen. So because of that, sometimes things are let go. An example of two sides that don't always see eye to eye: religion and science. There's conflict between what religions say about the world and the origins of the world with what science thinks happened. And that starts to become a big thing in the 1500s, and it still exists today. Religion and science tend to conflict with each other and don't always see eye to eye. An example of that is the big debate over creationism and evolution. So creationism is the idea that God or some greater being created the universe and the world that we live in today, and us. Evolution is the idea that people are derived from other animals, primarily primates. That's why it's called the Scopes monkey trial. So they see things differently. Creationism thinks that everything was created by God. Evolution thinks that people evolved over time from other animals. So this guy Scopes decides that he's going to teach the theory of evolution in a school in Tennessee, a public school. But it was against the law to teach evolution. So it ended up going to trial. And people wanted there to be a law against teaching evolution because they saw it as going against the Bible. So what happened? There was a huge turnout. People were very, very interested in the trial because a lot of people believed in creationism and a lot of people believed in evolution. It was both of their rights to believe in those things. They have the right to believe in whatever they want, but it caused conflict because people felt very strongly on both sides. In the end, it didn't matter which was accepted. Neither was really accepted. The teacher still technically broke the law, so he did have to pay a fine. Despite that, it was seen as a victory for science because it didn't end the debate over teaching what does this have to do with our rights, and how sometimes they conflict with other things? You might have opinions and you might have beliefs that aren't always so popular. Or you might run into people that have opinions and beliefs that you think are just plain crazy. But the idea behind this country and the rights that we have is that they should not be taken away for whatever reason. So the idea is we have that conflict sometimes between people who think different things. And we don't stop people from thinking certain things because that would curtail or allow the government to police very basic rights that we have. And we don't want that. A big example that I use a lot is racist organizations. They exist, and a lot of people think, well, why doesn't the government just outlaw them? Despite racism being wrong, is it a thought? And if the government stopped that or curtail it, that would be the government telling people what they can and cannot think. And should people be racist? Obviously not. But if the government told people what they can and cannot think, that could lead to other things. And them telling us what we can and cannot think about other issues and topics as well. And that could be dangerous. So that's just an example. When you go through this, think about things that you think of and things that you've heard that you don't necessarily agree with, and try to understand the opinions of other people. You won't always agree with them, and some of them will be just plain crazy, like the racism example that I used. But it's important that we understand where other people are coming from when they are reasonable beliefs. Make sure you answer the questions that are underneath this video. If you have questions about this one, please reach out to us, since this one isn't nearly as clear cut as some of the other lessons we've